Shalom, this is your host, Pastor Enoch Phiri. Welcome to The Journey, a show where we profile prominent members of our society who have made it against all odds, of course, by the help of the Holy Spirit. Today in the studio, I continue chatting to Sister Sinazo. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you for having me again, Pastor.
You are such a blessing. You know, last week I was so blessed listening to your story from your childhood until you went to high school. Now maybe this week we're going to look a little bit on how you discovered purpose for your life. You know what to do for a living. I think you are a nightmare to every celebrity in South Africa.
I don't think being a nightmare is a proper purpose, Pastor, but okay.
Yes. How did you discover purpose for your life? I know there are a lot of things that you do except television. How did this come about?
So it probably came about, let's take it back a little bit to the later years of high school.
Okay.
Grade 11 and 12. This is when the pressure was on to actually decide what you're going to do, what you're going to study, and what career path you're going to choose for the rest of your life. Because those are the subjects you'll choose in your later years in high school, and then those are the things you'll study in university. So a lot of career guidance people used to come, and I remember one of my best friends in high school, Amanda, wanted to be an oral hygienist, and I didn't even know what that was. And she had done all the research, and I thought to myself, I have no idea where to start. But one of the subjects that I enjoyed the most, I enjoyed science, chemistry, physical science, mathematics, economics, and accounting.
Okay.
So there was one of these career guidance coaches came and they said, you know what, South Africa has a shortage of young black chartered accountants. So this is a market where you can really go in. The demand is quite high, the pay is good, and you can start up your own businesses and be entrepreneurs and make a good living for yourselves. And so we thought, okay, we enjoy these subjects, so this is something we could do. I remember myself and maybe about 10 of my classmates, we decided this is what we're going to do. We're going to be chartered accountants.
Okay. Yeah.
So we studied the relevant subjects. We got into university by the grace of God.
Okay.
Because we didn't study enough in our finals in matric. I remember I was with Amanda. We were staying at the square in the center of Cape Town at her cousin's place, and there was a pool. And it was the middle of summer when we were writing these exams. So instead of studying, we would put on our bikinis, we'd sit next to the pool. We said we're going to study by the pool. How we're going to put our books next to the pool water was beyond me, but that was the idea. This is what we told everybody. We're studying by the pool. So we'd sit by the pool and we'd talk about boys, and the whole afternoon would go.
Wow.
So I can never pretend that we put in everything that we reaped was because of our own sowing. Again, it goes back to the soldiers of God that are praying in our corner, because our grandmothers know that these children are busy running after boys and not really concentrating on their schoolwork and just asking God's guidance to be with us. So by the grace of God, we managed to pass matric and have a few distinctions here and there, and then make it into varsity. So I got into the course, my first choice that I wanted to study, which was financial accounting, which is the specializing as a chartered accountant. And it was during these varsity years, again, I was living by myself off campus, that I met some other friends of mine who were doing modeling, because some of the people in varsity, they'll do modeling gigs, they'll do some presenting work here and there when I was in Cape Town. So I thought, okay, I could get into modeling. One of my friends, LG, actually saw some photos of me and said, you know, I will call up a few modeling agencies. I think you've got the right look to be a model. And me, okay. I've never looked at myself and seen myself as model material, if I can call it that. So LG said, leave it all to me. The next day he calls me, he says, I've set up some meetings with 3 modeling agencies in town. I need you to be available at this time. Now he wants me to leave my lectures to go and set up this meeting. Now I said, okay, it's fine. We'll leave just one lecture, one time. We'll leave the lecture and then we'll set up. The first agent we went to said, okay, we like your look. We'll actually sign you on the spot. So got signed by a modeling agency, but I say modeling agency, I use the word very loosely because they don't just do modeling things.
Okay.
They'll send you to presenting auditions, they'll send you to castings if there's a movie being shot. And, you know, in Cape Town, there are a lot of international movies that shoot in Cape Town. So they'll send you to be an extra there or to be a featured extra. Generations is doing a casting for something, you know, come and do this. So that's how I got into the industry.
Okay.
And one of the directors that I met was called Grant Paul Roy. He works for Carol Bauer Productions. And they were doing a production which was a reality TV show at the time. And they were casting, they wanted some guys and some girls. It was all about the dating scene in Cape Town.
Okay.
And they saw me there and they said, no, we like this girl. But eventually the treatment, the script for the show changed. And they weren't going to do guys and girls anymore. They were just going to do the guys. So they said, you know, this girl, there's something about her. We don't know what it is, but we're going to keep her in mind. And then maybe about a year later, they were working on a different show, which was 2010, when the FIFA World Cup was in South Africa, and everybody's in this high spirit. So they said, we're going to do something that's a lifestyle show that's centered around the World Cup, around footballers, the wives, the shopping, the places they go to, the restaurants, all of these great things. And they said, there's that lady that we spoke to last year who made an impression. And I remember getting a call. I was on my way from school, from my last lecture, and I was going into town to go do a little bit of shopping. And I remember getting a call, and this lady said, I'm Tembi from Carol Bauer Productions. I remember the name Carol Bauer. Yes, I remember Carol Bauer from back in the day. And they said, my producer, my director, Grant Paul Roy, said to call you. I'm thinking, this name sounds familiar, but I don't remember where it was from. Because you go to maybe 100 or 200 castings before you get one job.
Wow.
Just a small role that's going to pay you maybe 500 rand or something like that.
The process,
you need to be very, very consistent. And you know, when you've gone to 50 auditions and you didn't get any of those, you can start feeling a little bit dejected because you have to spend money. You know, you have to buy the kind of clothes that are right for the look. You have to take a taxi, and sometimes you'll have to take 2 taxis to get there because I didn't have a car at the time. So you're spending money to go and stand there with 100 very, very beautiful ladies, only to hear thanks but no thanks.
Wow.
So once you've done that 50, 60, 70 times, you start thinking to yourself, no, let me just rather sit at home and read a magazine, or let me rather just watch cartoons on TV.
Doesn't that impact negatively on your self-esteem?
It does, because when you hear so many no's, you start to wonder, what exactly is wrong with me? And you start to look at the girl next to you, and she's taller, and you think, maybe if I was taller, I'd be more successful.
Okay.
Maybe if my skin was lighter, I'd be more successful. Maybe if my eyes were bigger, or my, you know, you start comparing yourself to a lot of different things. And that's the danger sometimes in the industry that we work in, is that you get so many no's that you start thinking there's something wrong with you. But it's not your time yet.
Powerful.
Because it's God's timing.
Absolutely.
When they called me for that audition, I didn't even know they were doing something like that. My agent didn't even know. So they called me direct to say, we want you to come and audition for this job. And I thought, it's one of those things where you have to audition 100 times to get one gig.
Wow.
Maybe even 200 times to get one job. So even when I went there, I didn't go with the motivation of, this is my job, I can feel it. I just went there, said my name, did the thing. They gave me a little bit of a script to read. I read the script. As soon as I was done, I was thinking of all the things that I needed to do. I need to meet my group mates in the lab for an assignment that we need to do. I've got this that's due. I've got a tutorial that's that. I've got a test next week. I've got this. I wasn't even thinking about that job. To show you that it wasn't mine. It was divine. It was divine timing.
Wow.
Because I went to that audition once, and then they called me for the shortlist. I think they had shortlisted 5 or 10 girls, and they said, you made it through to the second round of auditions. And I said, auditions for what? No, that show that they're doing with Grant Paul Roy for Carol Bauer Productions. Oh, okay. And the second audition, I forgot about it. Because I was really not that invested, because you get to a point where you start to feel dejected. And I forgot about it, and he gives me a call, and he says, how far are you? We're waiting for you. I said, sorry, I'm running late. I forgot all about it. I say, I'll be there in 20 minutes. He says, please hurry. We've been waiting for you since 11 o'clock. I realized that this thing was 1 hour away from where I was. And I had to change taxis, I think, 2 or 3 times. I thought it was just here down the road in town, which is where they have their offices. So now I'm in a taxi, in the first taxi, and he calls me. Are you close by? I say, yes, I'm close by. Lies. I get to the second taxi.
Yeah.
This is when I realized this thing is going to take another 45 minutes.
Wow.
This is much, much longer than I thought. I called him again. No, he called me. And I said, God, I'm going to be straight up with you. This is where I am. And I still need to take another taxi to change to get to that place. Mm-hmm. And then where the taxi drops you is not exactly where these people are. You still have to do a little bit of a short walk. So I explained this whole thing to him. And I was fully expecting him to say, you know what, we're going to go. You've missed your chance. And I could hear him on the other side. He was saying, it's fine. We'll wait for you. We're already here. Just try and get here as quickly as possible. And I thought, you know, when you feel like you don't deserve that chance, because first of all, you lied. You forgot about it.
Yes,
then after you realized what was going on, you lied about it. And now when you come clean, you still have an extra 45 minutes on top of the half an hour that you've already taken. And he said, okay, we'll wait for you. Eventually, I got there. The next week or the week after that, I wasn't feeling too well. I went to the pharmacy. I think I had a little bit of a cold or a flu. I went to the pharmacy, got some medication. You know the medication that makes you very sleepy? Took that medication. I was out the whole weekend. Put my phone on silent. I saw maybe 10 calls, 15 calls from a number that I didn't recognize. And you know when you're a student, airtime is like gold. You can't just be calling back every number that you don't know. So I decided I'll take this call when I have the time. And then I got a voicemail.
Was it from the same number?
It was from the same number.
Okay.
That I hadn't saved on my phone. A friend of mine said, let's go out for dinner. He took me out for dinner. He says, I know you haven't been feeling well, just to cheer you up. And the same number was trying to call. And I called, I got a voice message. And it says, hi, it's Grant Paul Roy. Please get back to me as quickly as you can. And I called this number as we were sitting down for dinner. I called this number and he says, I've been trying to reach you the whole weekend. I was actually about to give up on you, but I've got good news. You've got the job.
Amen. Praise
Amen.
God.
And he started talking about contracts. When can you come to sign the contract? And he started talking figures. And he said there were so many zeros in that first contract. You know, as a student, you're not used to working a job. And I thought to myself, what is happening? What is happening? And I remember I was wearing a ring like I do right now. And I used to call it pest control. Because sometimes I'll put it on this side, because sometimes the gentlemen in Cape Town, they are too persistent for their own good. You can tell a guy, no, I'm in a relationship, I've got someone, please don't talk to me, don't call me, but they will still talk to you and try to persist. So I used to wear this ring, and I will just wear it to say, guys, please stay away.
Stay away.
Yes. So I was wearing that ring, and I was sitting there with a male friend of mine in the restaurant, and that's when I got the part. And he says, oh, congratulations, and he was so happy. He turns around, he comes to hug me. Everybody's looking. They thought he proposed.
Wow.
They thought he proposed because now they see a ring. The manager sends over a bottle of champagne. Oh, congratulations, guys. And couples came over to come and congratulate us. And they thought we were engaged.
Wow.
So we just said, let's just go with us. They're giving us free champagne. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Oh, your ring is thank you. We just went with it.
Amen.
We just went with it.
Wow.
But this is how I got started in the industry.
Wow.
With it wasn't my own doing. I can't
see, one thing that I love about it, that doesn't matter how many no's you get. When God says yes.
When the timing is right.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a music break. And when we come back, we'll be talking on the last part of the journey of Sinazo and see where she is at the moment. Stay tuned. Thank you very much to our viewers, and welcome back. My sister, where are you currently?
Currently, I am co-hosting The Real Koboza with Fat Joe on Saturdays. Yes. It's a lot of fun, but I've seen more than one celebrity run away when they see us, because they always think, oh, IGP, they're going to grill me on Real Koboza.
Wow.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Many people run away.
No, not too many people run away. I think what happens with Celebville is that you'll have the people with their stories out on the Sunday papers.
Okay.
And then what we do is we poke fun at these stories.
Okay.
That's what we do. It's always light-hearted. It's never malicious. And even when we have guests in the studio, it's for you to clear up what was written about you in the papers. You know, if you had a fight with your spouse or with your manager, there'll always be something that's, you know, sometimes we have to add a little bit of spice to sell copies. So we give you an opportunity to say, Pastor, what is this that has been written about you? And that's your opportunity to clear it up. But a lot of people still see it as a gossip show, and they still think we're a little bit reluctant to go on the show. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
You know, most people say publicity is publicity, doesn't matter whether it's bad news or good news.
That's what a lot of people have said, but having worked in this industry, I can attest to the fact that not all publicity is good publicity. I think it depends on what you want to get out of it. What is the purpose of you being in this entertainment industry? For me, there are thousands and thousands of stories to be told. And it's not my story, but I am a vessel for these stories to be told. So I'm going into more of a production side. And this is where I need to be credible. So if I put together an agreement for a new TV show, and I approach a station and I say, I need R1 million of your money in order to do this thing, I need you to be able to trust that this million is not going to be flushed down the drain. You're not going to see me in a club one day popping bottles of champagne with this money. You need to trust that this is someone who is reliable, who can deliver, and whose word is as good as gold. So for me, not all publicity is good publicity. Because if you're reading about me every single week that she showed up to a shoot, she wasn't ready, or she gets to shoots late, or intoxicated, or all those kinds of things that knock your credibility down, are things that won't benefit me when I need to go into a boardroom and substantiate why I need this budget.
Now, to where you are currently, and looking back where God has picked you from, what is your message to young people out there, maybe who live in remote areas and they aspire to be like you? What's your message?
You know, I don't think there's anything that's impossible when you serve a living God. Because where I come from, the small village that my gran was living in, she's no more. There's no running water. There's no electricity, even today. So if you're looking at those obstacles and thinking to yourself that there's no way I can, because so many people are starting with so many better opportunities than you. And I remember when I was in varsity, I was studying with people who came only from bursaries that would pay tuition, and that's it. And now you don't have money for food, money for textbooks, and these are people all starting on the back end. But these are people who dedicate themselves to what they want, to their purpose. These are people who come from families where there are prayer warriors in those families. Because it's not all about what you're starting with in life. We can't all start on the same starting point.
Absolutely.
But it's the way you finish.
That's
that
what
is
matters.
everything. That is everything.
Does that go to do also to develop a right, good thinking pattern?
It absolutely has to be. I think you mentioned this last week when you say bring up a child in the ways of the Lord, because the ways of the Lord, I don't remember, it was Galatians, I'm not sure which chapter and which verse, but it was talking about the fruits of the Spirit.
Yes.
Self-discipline.
Galatians chapter 5, yeah.
Self-discipline is one of those.
Absolutely.
Love is one of those. I'm trying to think of some of the fruits of the Spirit, but these are the things that you have to focus on in order for you to be fruitful, to be successful. And it's not by accident that self-discipline is a part of the Bible, because there are so many other temptations out there in this world. You can get to this industry and you can get carried away by the limelight, and then a few years later, what happened to that girl who used to be on that show? Or what happened to that guy who used to do this and this? You know, the star was shining so bright. You know, this person was such a promising young person. But sometimes getting carried away, those things, it's all to do with that discipline.
Wow. And maybe what is your message to young people, especially in the music industry, young celebrities, you know, these who just get a break and they're exposed to the limelight of Josie? What is your word to them?
My word to anybody who comes to this industry, or any industry actually, is that it takes a lot of patience. Because the people you're seeing on your screen now, the people you're reading about in the magazine, they've all got years and years of stories.
Wow.
You know, my colleague Fat Joe usually says it takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Wow.
To become an overnight success takes 10 years. You can't expect that the first audition you go to will be the one. It might be the one, but it still takes a lot of work. It still takes a lot of practice to get into it.
Wow. My sister, thank you very much. It was really a blessing having you on our program today.
Pastor, thank you for the invitation.
And may the good Lord bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to our viewers. It's very, very much important to note that God has special plans for your life. Commit your plans unto the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Depend upon the Lord. God is going to command your steps to greatness. Thank you very much for watching once more. Stay blessed till we meet next week.